Well, the situation at the beginning is that Nancy and Alan Cowan have a son, Zachary, and he is 11, and Penelope and Michael Longstreet have a son, Ethan, who is also 11, and the two boys have had a fight in the playground, and my son has hit their son with a stick and broken two of his teeth. So they are coming together. They have been in Nancy and Alan, my character, and Christoph's character. We have been invited to the Longstreet's house to just try and talk this through, to try and figure out a way to get the boys to patch this up, and to just resolve it, come to some level of resolve. But everyone approaches it with a very different opinion, with a very different attitude, and all hell breaks loose. And before you know it, it becomes nothing to do with the boys and their fight, but entirely to do with these two different marriages and the cracks that lie between them. Yes, I did. I saw the Broadway production with James Gandolfini and Hope Davis and Marcia Gay Harden and Jeff Daniels. So yes, I was indeed familiar with it, and it was a brilliant production and incredible performances by all of them, just unbelievable. It's a window on so many of our worlds. You know, it's about parenting, it's about the complexities of parenting, it's about differing opinions about how children should be raised, but more importantly, it's about the great, endless, complex dynamic that marriage truly is. And to have turned it into a comedy in the way that Yasmina did is something that is even more enriching and colourful and enlightening, I think, for everybody, to be able to laugh at ourselves, to be able to make fun of the human condition in this particular context is the thing that I think, no matter what language you speak or which country you're in, or what your personal circumstances are, we've all, as adults, experienced some part of what this play is about. I always love rehearsal. It's always such a pleasure to be able to have. It's such a luxury. Some actors don't like rehearsal very much, but I felt very strongly coming into this that, oh yeah, I'm sure we'll probably rehearse everything. But I didn't realise, I think none of us could have counted on this thing that Roman did, which was to have us all learn the script from start to finish, the entire movie script, like a play. And we staged the whole thing. And I was personally really thrilled that we did that, because it means that when we get onto the set, we all know exactly what our physical positions are. And not only is that helpful to us in terms of where we're at within the story, but it's helpful to Roman because he can structure how he's going to shoot it. And to have had that time together as well, that kind of, it sounds like such a sort of cliche thing to say, but it was a very bonding experience for all of us to be thrown right in at the deep end, shocked into, action by Roman suddenly saying, okay, go away this weekend and learn the whole thing, but I love that. I mean, it's, this job it's such a gift, but when it becomes even more of a challenge than you could ever have anticipated it might be, it's just so fun to have to rise to that challenge, and to be with these actors who, John and Jodie and Christoph, who are so accomplished and so brilliant at what they do, to feel the desire to, to all hold hands and match each other's ability is, it's really wonderful. And I have to say as well that we've been very fortunate that we all really get along great. Like, we all sort of just love each other. So that's been great. I mean, if one of us had been in any way, tricky, it would have been another story, I think. Yes, it was fun actually, and I've got to be honest, I was dreading it. I was actually dreading this. It's a monologue that Nancy gives, which is sort of extremely erratic and all over the place, and she's at her most drunk, and having been also vomiting previously for the majority of the story up until this point. But it was in a way there was a kind of it felt. There was sort of a curse over this speech, because it always in rehearsals felt a little bit speechy, and all of us kept commenting on, oh God, how can we make this feel just as though it comes out of absolutely nowhere? And a lot of kind of solving that was, just really relying on Roman's direction, which is always so unbelievably bang on right. But also just restaging some things a little bit to how we had done it in rehearsal. I mean, that's the other great thing about having rehearsed it one way, is that you know what works and what doesn't work. And, you know, being able to arrive on the day and say, oh, okay, actually, let's change that now. You have the added luxury of that. So, but it was a really fun morning, and I'm very happy it's done, because it is difficult to do that stuff. You know, there's nothing worse than bad drunk acting. God help us. I hope that's not what I've just been doing all day. I wasn't. I wasn't remotely surprised. I mean, I think when 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 you're told that Roman Polanski is directing the film version of God of Carnage, you really just don't question it, because you know that this is a man who is clearly capable of doing that and has very specific reasons why he wants to do that. And as an actor, you know, all you can ever do is trust entirely in the director's vision and their choices. And, you know, being asked to be a part of this extraordinary cast of people, it's just so flattering. It's, you know, it's one of the greatest honors. So I mean, doubts just never even came into it. Not at all. Well, I think, you know, it's I mean, there's no handbook, you know, there's no guidebook to how to act, how to, you know, be funny, sad, you know. So you have to rely on the writing, I think, with a piece like this, you know, because the comedy is in the writing, it's in the story, and it's within the framework of how the piece is set up. And I think acknowledging the fact that it's a satire, yes, that's important to do, and we've all been able to do that. But, you know, you can't play these moments and try and make them funny. You know, you have to sort of play the sincerity of the moment, or the lunacy of the moment, or just how ridiculous the entire situation is. Sometimes it's funny in and of itself. So it's about knowing, you know, it's about knowing when to do something that might actually be amusing on camera, or when to just rely on the circumstances to be the thing that is humorous. But I've learnt so much about that, because I have done some comedy before, but not that much. And you know, you learn these things as you go, and kind of hope for the best a little bit, and hope that you are doing something that is, you know, sincere and funny. You know, throughout this piece, we hear all of these characters use really aggressive, robust words as either weapons or ways of explaining their own emotions or their perception of what someone else is thinking. And and there are reactions to that, and none of them take responsibility for the words that come out of their mouths at all. And that's one of the reasons why it unravels in the way that it does. No one takes responsibility for anything that they say. And, you know, life can't be like that, because then look what happens. I mean, that's why it becomes this thing that it does. And that's all, again, been brilliantly written into the screenplay, is this sense of no one taking responsibility, no one atoning for anything, no one apologizing. I think the only person who says sorry is Nancy. She says, I'm sorry, Doodle. I'm sorry, Doodle. She says it to Alan when she's just apologizing for completely ruining his life because she drowned his telephone in the vase of tulips.